Did you know that true courage isn't about being fearless? It's about pushing forward even when you're terrified. That's a lesson Sergeant Mason Hale of the United States Marine Corps knew by heart. Raised in the quiet fields of Montana, Mason learned about duty and honor from his father, a retired Marine. It was a lesson he carried with him every single day, especially the day he signed his own enlistment papers. Years later, Mason found himself deep in a remote, mountainous region overseas. He was leading a small reconnaissance team, and their mission sounded simple: find an enemy stronghold, gather intelligence, and get out without being seen. But as any soldier will tell you, missions rarely go according to plan. For 3 long days, Mason and his team navigated the harsh, rugged landscape. They moved like ghosts, only at dusk and dawn, finding rest in cold, shadowy corners. The constant, distant rumble of conflict was a grim reminder of the danger that surrounded them. On the 4th night, their patience paid off. There it was, the compound, cleverly hidden beneath layers of rock and camouflage netting. It was bigger than they'd anticipated, heavily guarded and buzzing with activity. Mason meticulously recorded every detail, every movement, every guard rotation, every potential weakness. Their intelligence was vital. Just as they were preparing to pull back, to melt back into the shadows they came from, the world exploded. An unexpected blast tore through the mountainside. A foot patrol had stumbled upon their trail. The peaceful silence they had relied on was shattered by the sharp crack of gunfire. Move, go. Mason's voice cut through the chaos. His team scattered, diving for cover and returning fire as they began a desperate retreat through the treacherous rocks. The enemy was closing in fast. The narrow mountain ledges offered little room to maneuver, making every step a gamble. The situation went from bad to worse when one of his youngest Marines, Private Torres, slipped on the loose rock and badly injured his leg. He was down and the enemy was advancing. "Leave me, Sergeant." Torres gasped, his face twisted in pain. "Get the others out." In that critical moment, with bullets whizzing past, Mason didn't hesitate. "Not a chance," he said, his voice firm and unwavering. He hoisted the injured Private Torres over his shoulder, a dead weight that would have crushed a lesser man. While carrying Torres, Mason continued to fire his weapon with his free hand, providing covering fire for his team. Every single step was a monumental battle fight against gravity, against exhaustion, and against the crushing weight of responsibility for the lives of his men. The rest of the team rallied, fighting with renewed ferocity, forming a protective corridor for their sergeant as he carried their wounded brother through the rocky hellscape. They fought their way back, inch by bloody inch, until they reached a ridge suitable for extraction. Their emergency signal had been received, and the sound of approaching helicopters was the most beautiful music they had ever heard. Mason carefully placed Torres aboard the chopper first, ensuring he was secure before turning back to help the others climb in. Only when every single member of his team was safely on board did Mason allow himself to step onto the aircraft. As the helicopter lifted off, banking sharply away from the firefight, he finally let the immense tension drain from his body. He had done it. They were safe. Lying on a stretcher beside him, Torres looked up at his sergeant, his voice a hoarse whisper. "You saved my life, Sergeant." Mason just shook his head, a small, tired smile on his face. "We save each other," he replied. "That's what Marines do." Back at base, the mission was hailed as a resounding success. The intelligence Mason's team gathered was invaluable, exposing a major operational threat and saving countless lives. But for Mason, the true victory wasn't in the reports or the commendations. It was in the simple, profound fact that his entire team had made it home. He looked at the faces of his men, tired, bruised, but alive. And he was reminded once again of that fundamental truth. Courage isn't always loud and flashy. It isn't about grand gestures or dramatic speeches. More often than not, courage is a quiet decision. It's the silent resolve to keep going, to put one foot in front of the other, when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to stop. It's the choice to carry your brother when he can no longer walk. That's the silent courage that defines a true hero.